So what's the Grape Explorer talking about today? So we are back to our Grand Cru Classe series, but what I wanted to share with you is, I do go on a lot of trips and I meet a lot of new properties, but we're talking about Bordeaux today, which of course, as you probably know, I'm very passionate about, as you can see from my map, in the back of me, but we're going to talk about Saint-Emilion and a property that I had a chance to discover. So we always have a big blueberry here, but this is in the commune. Remember we talked about the commune of Saint-Laurent-de-Combe, which is in the bottom right here. And you can just see the name of the property. It's called Tour Baladoz. And they also have another property that they own, which is called La Croizille. And these are very fascinating properties. This is just elevated recently to Grand Cru Classe status in 2022. But I want to give a shout out to Emilion De Schepper. And so on a trip when I was in Bordeaux, she invited me to visit the property that they actually own in Margaux, which is really cool. And I wanted to break this out. You can see right here on my Foray's book right here. And this property is really cool because it's called Au Breton La Rigaudière in Margaux. You can see it's a fabulous property and in Margaux. But, this family is a Belgian negociant in Bordeaux, and they own quite a number of properties. So tasted the whole range. I mean, they have close to 5 chateaus. I was very impressed. I did not know this family. I did not know this negociant. And so when I tasted the wines, they definitely fly under the radar. But Helene, I do have to say, she was a very gracious host. We actually had a chance to go out to dinner in Margaux, and she explained a little bit more about her family and their interests. But on a recent trip to tasting some Saint-Emilion Grand Cru Classe, they were actually showing their wines. And, I wanted to give a shout out to this family, to the De Schepper family. And they actually are located with this vineyard down, and you can see right here, which is Saint-Laurent-de-Combe. And they are next to some illustrious properties, by the way. So you're near L'Arquis du Casse, and also Belfond-Belsier is in that neighborhood as well. So they are up against some serious heavy hitter properties. But a lot of people don't know this property, so that's why I'm here to share. Because guess what? That's what we're all about. I try to not only bring new discoveries to the plate that I can actually share with everybody, but I also, if you go on some of the trips that I go on, you're always meeting people, and that's the whole idea about being in the part of the business that I do. So you get a chance to make a lot of connections and contacts. And Helene was, again, just super gracious host, and I just wanted to really give a shout out to not only her and her family, but they're making great wines. And this property is really on the mark. So you really want to pay attention here to La Croizille. And, this is a Petit Cru, seriously aged, 18 months in oak. So you get a lot of cherry, blackberry, you get that woody, beautiful, pleasant nose, but it's really long, supported by melted tannins in the mouth. And then toward Baladoz, you can see that, this wine is also a wine. This is from the Demore trading house and negociant family. So they own not only Au Breton La Rigaudière or Chateau, they also own Chateau and Le Combe Cadiot in Upper Bordeaux in Saint-Emilion, and then toward Baladoz, which is clay limestone and fabulous in this property. Because if you know this area, we're talking about one of the highest elevation vineyards in all of Saint-Emilion, because you get that limestone, L'Arquis du Casse. I'm really all over that. As far as great wines, Belfond-Belsier, power, structure. This is a next door neighbor. They're making great wines. But I also want to share with people, because a lot of times we talk about vintages, and here in America, a lot of the wine writers do get a little caught up on vintages, and and that's good, because they do want to show you that if you have a great year, like 2000 vintage was great, 2005, these are heralded vintages. But then you do get some vintages that might not be heralded, like 2006 and or 2008. Some of these vintages were a little lighter weight. This is 2021. And a lot of the wines that came in, a lot of people said, well, it's a little lighter in style. True. So they had some difficulty, but what we call this is a serviceable vintage. And the reason why I say that is because these are the kind of wines that show up in restaurants. Because, why would you want to buy a wine that's not ready to drink when you can buy actually a 2021? 2020, and you can see on the label here, these wines are powerful. They need some time in the bottle to develop. So that's why you look on the label and you can see a 2021, and then you can, the prices are usually down. That doesn't mean that the quality is not good. So when you smell this wine, you get all that Saint-Emilion classic, you get that limestone right off the bat. It just jumps. You get all those blue fruits and red fruits. Just beautiful subtlety too. You get a little licorice here. So let's taste this wine. Oh, you get a mouthful of wine, but the tannins are there, but they're not that over-present. I think this wine will develop a little more in time, but I think you can drink this wine young if you just air the wine out a little bit. But I think that this would be beautiful with a steak or any type of lamb or even duck or anything that would hold up to that kind of gamey kind of quality, because you can actually, again, you can drink this wine, but you've got that mineral, that limestone mineral that shows up in these wines that you don't get in other wines. That's why you got to pay attention, because these are great values. These are all going to be under $50 a bottle. And when I say that, some of the best wines in that neighborhood are jumping in price. So, you got to be inquisitive, and you got to say, okay, where are the values, especially in Saint-Emilion, because, some of these wines, Pavie and not too far away from this property, are $500 a bottle. So I always say discover the under-the-radar wines, but then, wines that you might not have heard of. But these are great, great properties. Again, this is a Grape Explorer, always trying to identify great, great wines. And we got a beautiful wine right here in Saint-Emilion. And look at the label here, and don't forget it. It's called right here, Tour Baladoz Saint-Emilion Grand Cru Classé. Cheers.